Good day. This is Nimrod Radio What News. My name is Bimpe Esan Adedeji. Let us run through the headlines of the news stories before the details. The attack of Israel on Nebatia interrupted meeting. Israel's source of weapons, as reported. In Nigeria, not less than 105 people died by petrol tanker explosion. Nigeria is still the access point to the future of Africa. In sport, it is possible that England gets to the peak to get the World Cup. We'll return shortly with the details of the news stories. Now the details. The attack of Israel on Nebatia interrupted meeting. As reported, Nabatea city in the southern Lebanon was struck by Israel, and a municipal council meeting, which was meant to deliberate on the emergency relief, was interrupted as the Prime Minister of Lebanon relayed on the social media platform. He mentioned the meeting was particularly targeted. People listed as dead are 6, and the mayor of the city is among, as stated by their state media. As stated in the report, Israel Defense Force opened up on Wednesday many targets on Hezbollah in southern Lebanon. Nebatia specifically were struck in order to wave off the claim that the Radwan forces of Hezbollah are in use of underground infrastructure. Israel's source of weapons, as reported. According to the report, a warning has been released from the United States that the supply of weapons to Israel may be put to a stop if the country refuses to create improvement on the conditions of people in Gaza. Though, as reported, the main supporter of Israel has formally released a similar threat as it concerns the supplies. The U.S. President Joe Biden stated in May the weapons being shipped to Israel will be prevented if southern Rafah was invaded. The Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, still continued with the intention of invasion as the U.S. also released weapons with no obstruction. As stated in the report, the one that is strongly behind Israel to supply the large number of arms to Israel is the U.S. By records, 69% of the ammunition supplied to Israel were by the U.S. and as reported. Report has it the International Arms Transfers registered by the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute SIPRI stated Germany was next to US, supplying 30% of arms to Israel. Italy is releasing 0.9%, while UK, France, and Spain contribute to the supplies in little way. Going by the report, the imported weapons by the United States have greatly encouraged the activities of the Israeli military in opposition to Hamas and Hezbollah, as media outlets relayed. As year 2023 was coming to an end, thousands of weapons, the guided bombs and missiles were supplied to Israel by the U.S., alongside F-35 and F-15 fighter jets were released from the same country in January this year, 2024. In Nigeria, not less than 105 people died by petrol tanker explosion. According to report, not less than 105 people died, while 70 others sustained injuries in the northern part of Nigeria after the explosion of a crashed petrol tanker, which was by a local station waiting to retrieve fuel on Tuesday, as explained by the Nigerian force. As reported, the risk exposed so many to death as expected. It occurred towards the evening by the local time in Majia, a small settlement in Jigawa State. The gathered report stated the tanker driver lost control on the brake and tumbled, released petrol unconsciously into a ditch drainage, as the spokesperson of Jigawa Police Force, Seshu Lawan Adam, relayed. By this happening, those living around where the incident occurred rushed to the scene for scooping at the site of the explosion. A mass burial was conducted for the victims on Wednesday afternoon, as Adam further stated. The Vice President of Nigeria, Kasim Shettima, according to report, grieved over the dead as he expressed his sorrowful heart towards the families that lost their loved ones to the unforeseen event. He further said, the happening greatly hurt them deeply, and the government of Nigeria shares Jigawa's grief, and he promised the needed resources of care support will be rendered to those that were injured by the federal government of Nigeria. As stated in the report, Shettima made an announcement on the instant intervention of the government on the transportation of food safety protocols. The explosion was the second recorded incident after the one which rendered 48 people dead in the north-central Niger state in Nigeria. Nigeria is still the access point to the future of Africa. According to report, Ambassador Jida, the Consul General of Nigeria in New York, let out a statement Nigeria is still the point of access into the future of Africa in terms of socio-economic growth and development in Africa. He said this at a summit with a focus on economy, trade, investment, and cultural exchange. It was a sideline event of the United Nations General Assembly, UNGA, recently held, where Jida implored those who attended the summit to observe Nigeria as the access point of the future of Africa. Listing the factors that are responsible for this: the youthful population of the country, its natural resources, which is abundant, and the various tourist centers in the country, all are factors to be considered, according to him. As reported, the summit was organized by New Day International, the United Nations Commonwealth Group, USI, the Nigerian Progressive Professionals in Foreign Lands, or Progressive Congress members, APC, around, and the U.S. Committee of Chairmen in Diaspora, CDC. The summit was held in World Plaza, Whitestone in New York. Very important personalities were in attendance: officials from government houses, leaders in business and international business investors who dig deep into the issues of economy, trade, and investment in Africa, in the United States, and in China. As in the report, Professor Tai Balofe, the president and CEO of New Day International, and Andy Lane of the UN Comintech, the key global stakeholders, policymakers, investors in Nigeria, in China, US, and from other regions, took active part in dealing with the various challenges in the economic sector, and they collectively preferred solutions to them. The summit served as a strengthening tool and relationship among nations, and it created ways for growth and cooperation, according to Balofe, and as stated in the report. And in sport, it is possible that England gets to the peak to get the World Cup. It was stated in the report that England has what it takes to get to the peak and win the World Cup in year 2026. The head coach, newly appointed, released this affirmative statement as the Chief Executive Officer of Football Association, Mark Bullingham, support Tuchel's installment in 18-month contract. In his own convention, Thomas Tuchel believes he can empower the drive by England to mount higher and succeed other countries during the event of 2026 World Cup. The contract kicks off by January 2025, and the purpose is to enhance the team to get the fitness of taking the trophy. According to the report, England finished up the runners-up of European Championships as coached by Gareth Southgate, and they were all able to reach the semi-finals level of the 2018 World Cup. Before we end Nimrod Radio World News today, a very smart look at the headlines again. The attack of Israel on Nabatea interrupted meeting. Israel's source of weapons, as reported. In Nigeria, not less than 105 people died by petrol tanker explosion. Nigeria is still the access point to the future of Africa. In sport, it is possible that England gets to the peak to get the World Cup. We appreciate you for watching Nimrod Radio World News this morning. Thank you. Have a great day. My name is Bimpe Esan Adedeji.